leave the battle with the warlike Kanagas, driven wild by their superstitious fear of the monsters.
That's a scientific fact.
Johnny, the Mona Lisa has been desecrated. Yes, desecrated. Yeah, well, they threw pumpkin soup on it, Johnny, but it was protected by some bloody... But Johnny, what would Leonardo think? What would Leonardo say about it, Johnny? Yeah, I'll tell you what he'd say. He'd probably bloody go along with the protesters.
There was no smile for the Mona Lisa, the world's most famous artwork, vandalised. 2 protesters were arrested after storming through security at the Louvre. It's the latest in a string of climate-related demonstrations in Paris.
She rests behind protective glass, and for good reason. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa targeted by protesters.
Right! Yeah.
What's more important, they scream? Art or right to healthy and sustainable food? Museum staff rushing partitions into place and moving visitors on.
Yeah, now Leonardo, he was a pretty forward-thinking sort of a bloke. And I reckon if he thought that his food supply in Italy or wherever the fucking hell they are, wherever they are, is in danger, he'd probably bloody tip soup on the fucking thing himself. Well, I suppose, yeah, you're right.
Pumpkin soup for the world's most enigmatic smile.
Yeah, now it seems there's a problem, Johnny. There's a problem. It seems people are getting more and more frustrated by the lack of fucking, by the lack of involvement in the decision-making that goes on in with their so-called elected governments. In fact, they get no bloody say at all. Oh, that's bullshit, Johnny. Especially with this global warming stuff.
Food Retaliation said they staged the protest to support their demands for a fairer agricultural system and sustainable healthy food for all.
So what are they going to do next? Start kidnapping people?
We're like whistleblowers. We're like an alarm system. We want people to understand why we do this and why, after having demonstrated, signed petitions, organised workshops, we end up having to get arrested, face trials, and take huge risks.
So you're thinking these things are just going to get worse and it could be all part of the plan. But because there's such huge sums of money involved in doing all this, well, it becomes very difficult and we won't be achieving our goals to fucking 2050 or whatever. Now that tends to bloody frustrate people. I mean, look at the Vietnam War protesters. I, as a little kid, and you too, you remember when the protesters were on the bloody TV every night and they were getting fucking beaten up and manhandled by the coppers, all that sort of shit. Oh, Jesus, have a look at it.
We're like whistleblowers. We're like an alarm system.
And people were saying, oh, look at them, they're rat bags and everything. But no one would deny these days, Johnny, that what they were protesting about, the Vietnam War, was a shitbox of a war and should never have bloody started.
We're like whistleblowers. We're like an alarm system.
Right, yeah.